So just to be nominated and to be recognized in the industry as, having some modicum of success it feels really good.
Hi, I'm Terrell Turner, the host of the Business Talk Library, and today I have a special founder and CEO on, Sarah Sangha of Vellum Wellness. Welcome to the show, Sarah.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Now, Sarah, your business came across my attention for a couple of reasons. One is the 30 under 30 award, and I think that is a great honor. And I like what you were doing with your business as far as focusing on the area of wellness. So before we jump into those two things, tell me a little bit about what was your professional background before starting this business?
So I am a trained uh, journalist, video journalist, but upon graduating, I quickly realized it just wasn't for me. So I kind of had to reconcile with, I had been one of those kids that was like on a straight path and I thought I knew what I wanted to do. So I took the skills that I learned and I started doing some more corporate videography, but my passion that I did with a friend at night was called the Screen Girls. And so we would interview different rappers, different fashion designers, like just different people that we were interested in that we knew were coming to Vancouver, which is where I live. And through this, and we would ask everybody the same question, sort of, you make art or you live this crazy life, like how do you find a balance? And the answer was always that there is no balance, and that even people who are very successful, they struggle. Whether it's a rapper on tour who needs to go to different cities every night, staying up all night, you get sick, you're not eating right, and it can be a very unpleasant part of your journey. So that, coupled with what was going on in my own life and my friends' lives, it was like we're all living this, just like yourself, like we're doing multiple things all the time. So it really, my interest in where I ended up, which is doing Vellum Wellness, really started there with trying to problem solve some of the things that some of my favorite creators were going through, but then realizing like we can all learn from this and we can all use these things every day.
And I think that's a very interesting journey, and it becomes a very consistent story. What I've heard a lot of people where, they were doing something that they enjoyed doing and they came across a problem. And just like in any entrepreneur fashion, entrepreneurs love to solve problems.
Yes.
So what was it like making that switch from, from the journalism to now being an entrepreneur?
I think there's a lot of freedom that comes with it, but there's definitely a lot of risk. And so sometimes it's been overall positive and definitely thrilling. And I love that every day is different and, there's different challenges and problems that get solved. And it's always a thrill when you can do that. But I think that it's definitely been kind of an up and down, and even shutting the corporate videography business and starting this business knowing that the market is quite saturated. If sometimes it felt like crazy, and other times it felt like, well, this is just the most natural thing. And I find when you're on your path, things will just kind of open up for you, or you'll meet the right people, and it'll just keep small wins that keep making you feel like, okay, I'm on the right path and I should just keep going, even though I have so much adversity that I face every day.
And I know, speaking of that, when you talked about, coming into a market that was saturated, what I think is phenomenal is that, yes, it's a saturated market, but you've been able to carve out and create like brand recognition in a saturated market. What were some of the things that you or the approaches that you took to, to go into a market that's already filled with so many other options, but to still be able to prove that your product has phenomenal value and that you should have a place in this market?
I really appreciate you saying that. And, it's something that I come up against often. And they say to start a successful business like the one I'm trying to run, you need $1 million in capital. That's kind of what's been identified. So to do it with none of those numbers for budget, you have to be incredibly scrappy, incredibly persistent, and you just have to find ways to make noise and to draw attention to your brand. And that's something that I want to get even better with, but just using the free tools that are available to all of us, whether that's social media, some of the tools that are available to monitor and measure engagement, and then also just making sure like our messaging is very different. We're not aspirational. Like, we don't have perfect apartments, perfect lives that we're just trying to make better. Like often days, wellness is a struggle, mental health is a struggle, just trying to get out of bed and be a productive human is a struggle. So our products really cater to that lifestyle, one that understands that, there's good days and there's bad days, but the consistent thing you can do is take care of your body and try to take care of your mind. And these are just one way in a multitude of ways that you can do that every day.
And I think that that's a very big thing, especially right now with everything that's going on with COVID. One of the things that I've definitely, had a lot of conversations with different people, especially entrepreneurs, is that, when you have a situation like this, like you really have to take care of your body. Like you're, with just a disease like this, I mean, if you're not taking care of your body, you're putting yourself at even greater risk. So tell us a little bit about the products that you offer.
So we have a range of products that are partly aromatherapy, so you can put them in a diffuser, or you can just inhale them straight from the bottle. But what's really cool is you can also incorporate them into your skincare. So what's different is we kind of fall within like the beauty or the skincare industry, but we're really not focused on outward appearance. It's all about sort of natural methods to kind of heal the skin, or the really cool thing about the essential oils is they are recognized. We have terpenes in our brain. So you know how like with marijuana, like the terpenes recognize the THC. So with this, the terpenes, they recognize a different sense because it's just plant matter, right? So the way your brain can identify like an orange, right? It can also identify the scent of orange. So the scents actually can uplift you, or they can relax you if you're having anxiety or you can't sleep and you smell like a lavender or ylang ylang. It really has that ability to kind of ground you. So by that method, you can actually create moods. So if you're coming home from work and you just need to chill, you can have a cocktail going in your diffuser, and every time you smell that cocktail, your brain is going to begin to create an association. So one of our big target demographics is men, and men are incredibly private about skincare. They don't really talk about it with their friends. I'm sure you can vouch for me here. So it's really getting men to understand these products. And then traditionally, if you're just in a hetero partnership, the woman has a whole shelf of products, addressed to deal with specific parts of the skin, where men are often given like 2-in-1 shampoo and like some shaving cream and like told to get to it, right? But these products can be shared between genders, and then these products, like one product can do stuff for your hair, for your skin, for your mind, and just like for a whole range of things. So we're just really trying to like make it simple and easy and not require a ton of maintenance, because I think men just won't do it. If it's another thing that it's going to take forever, I don't think they're into it.
And I can definitely attest to like being, I guess, one of those category of type of men. Cause like even when I go into my bathroom, my wife and I, we have like, I guess you could say the his and her side of the bathroom. You look at her counter, there's a lot of great products there. You look at mine, there's probably like four. and, and I think this is just something that doesn't come to mind. So And you were speaking of the mood. So what would you recommend for, let's say, a person they've had a long, stressful day, they want to come home and just kind of relax? What product of yours would you recommend for that?
I would probably recommend, so what's kind of cool about us is you can, we have different oils, different products, but you can pick them all depending on your mental benefit. So right on the front of the bottle, we have, you know, whether it's for calmness, whether it's for grounding, whether it's to gain some perspective or some gratitude, it's written right on the front.
Wow.
So theoretically, if you had a couple of our oils, you could just look at the front and say, okay, I'm feeling stressed out. I think I could probably use some gratitude. I think I could probably use some presence and some simplicity. I think I could probably use some grounding, and I want to sleep, so maybe I'll use something for sleep. And then you could create your own concoction. Whereas, you know, the next day you might come home and you might want to work out. And so you're like, okay, I need some more energy. Well, you wouldn't use any of those oils. You would go, okay, I want to be focused. I want some lemon. I want to feel up. Like I want to use some oils on the different end of the spectrum. And so that would definitely help. Or you could feel more, you know, you could be dealing with some pain. So then you might want to look at different oils and say, well, I'll create a blend of peppermint and eucalyptus and I'll apply it to my sore areas, or if you have a headache. And so that's kind of the different ways you can use them. So you can use them for actual like pain relief, or you can just use them to get in a different mood and to feel good.
Awesome. So where can people find you online and on social media?
So online, you can find us at Vellum Wellness. So Vellum Wellness. And we're on all social channels, and then that's our website as well. And then in the US, we are partnered with Bed Bath and Beyond. We're also on Amazon.com, and you can purchase from our website as well.
Awesome. So how did that Bed Bath and Beyond partnership develop?
We thought we were a good fit for them, and being trying to really target men, you have to kind of think a little bit differently with like, where do men shop and where can we get men where they might just be going regularly and then they might see us. So just trying to make those kind of strategic partnerships. And so it's been really a great partnership. And so it's really helped me understand like maybe that is the way forward, is more of these retail partnerships, because I was establishing a strong presence in Vancouver pre-COVID, and now, you know, when I go to check on some of my customers, like they're either not open yet or they're just definitely not trying to think about orders or sales or anything. They're just trying to like stay afloat. So it's definitely kind of influenced the way I want to move forward.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Now, two questions I want to ask before we wrap up. The first one is, well, first, congratulations. And what was it like being included in the 30 under 30 list this year?
Thank you. And I'm really glad it was able to connect us. And it was definitely, it was somewhat of a surprise. I mean, they did contact me a couple weeks prior just to ask, just to double check the spelling of my name. So I was kind of like, well, if you randomly want to know that, I think this might happen, but it just dropped and I had no idea. And I woke up and I just had tons of messages and tons of love. And on a personal level, it's been just overwhelming. I think people in the world we're living in right now, it seems like at every corner there's some more bad news. So for a lot of people, for them to just hear this piece of good news, it was very uplifting for them. And so I got a lot of nice comments like that. And on a professional level, you know, when you have a business, what is it called? It's called, I think, the Trough of Sorrow, where, you know, for a while you're just working and trying to figure it out. And, you know, oftentimes it's not as easy or as linear as you think it would be going into it, but to kind of be recognized by the industry. And I was actually nominated by two other female entrepreneurs So just to be nominated and to be recognized in the industry as, having some modicum of success it feels really good, especially since I'm 29 and I just like snuck in there, so it's quite nice.
Awesome, awesome. Well, congratulations again.
Thank you.
And the last question I like to ask every guest that comes on is when you think about your entrepreneurial journey, I mean, there's so many lessons that you learn. And when you think about that, what is one lesson that you've learned in your journey that you think, hey, you know what, other entrepreneurs should know and become very sure about this lesson if they want to succeed?
That is a really, really good question. I think because of the stage where I'm at, I think I just want to really reiterate my earlier point, which is that no matter how much success comes, like you can't forget to be that scrappy, young, fresh person, because I think that there's a lot of creative energy in that headspace. And I think that I'm always going to kind of remember why you started and where you started, and like to keep that scrappy energy and lend it to any projects that you're working on, and think about, I may have the resources now, but when I didn't have the resources, how would I have done this? And like, because I think that's kind of what you build your reputation on. So I think it's important to just keep hustling and to never feel complacent or feel like, oh, I'm on this list or I've made this much, but just to understand that like nothing is promised. But if you stay in that mindset of like being scrappy and understanding like no matter what challenge is presented on my doorstep, I'm going to find my way through it, and I'm going to be resilient, and I'm going to make it out on the other side. I think that's definitely a good mentality to have.
Awesome. Well, Sarah, thank you so much for coming on to the show and telling us about your business and your business story. Again, congratulations on the 30 under 30 honor. That is huge. And then we wish you all the success with your business as you continue to grow it and make a huge impact.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was an honor to be part of this series, and I really appreciate it.
Thanks for tuning in to the Business Talk Library. If you like what you heard and you want to hear more, be sure to click the subscribe button and follow us on all social media platforms as the Business Talk Library.